There is a moment that happens every single day in millions of homes across the world that goes entirely witnessing. It happens right after the key turns in the lock. It happens when the door clicks shut, sealing out the hallway, the street, the office, and the world. It is the moment the shoulders drop. It is the moment the stomach unknots. It is the moment the face, which has been holding a specific muscular tension for 8, 10, or 12 hours, finally goes slack. For the vast majority of us, we do not simply walk into our homes. We collapse into them. We are not just physically tired from labour, we are metaphysically exhausted from performance. We have spent the entire day piloting a character. We have spent the day operating a complex, responsive, and carefully curated avatar that looks like us, sounds like us, but is not, in fact, us. We are going to talk about the pretenders. And I do not mean the liars. I do not mean the con artists or the sociopaths who deceive for gain. I am talking about the ordinary, decent, terrified people who have learned that to survive in this world, they must repress their true nature and replace it with a palatable simulation. I am talking about the person who laughs at a joke they find offensive because they are terrified of conflict. I am talking about the employee who nods enthusiastically in a meeting while their soul is screaming that this is a waste of time. I am talking about the partner who says, "I'm fine," because they have learned that their needs are a burden. We are living in the golden age of performance. Never before in human history have we been required to be on for so much of our existence. In the past, the performance ended when you left the village square. Now, the village square is in your pocket. It is on your screen. The audience is global and the reviews are instantaneous. But to understand the weight of this mask, we have to go back to the beginning, because nobody is born a pretender. Watch a toddler. They are entirely, ruthlessly themselves. If they are happy, they scream with joy. If they are angry, they throw themselves on the floor. If they are curious, they stare. They have no concept of awkwardness. They have no concept of brand. They are pure, unfiltered impulse. So how do we go from that wild, authentic creature to the anxious, curated adult who is terrified of saying the wrong thing in an elevator? We learn it, and we usually learn it through trauma. I don't necessarily mean big trauma, like war or abuse, though that certainly causes it. I mean the micro-traumas of socialization. The first time you laughed too loud and everyone stared at you with disgust. The first time you cried and were told to grow up. The first time you expressed a weird idea and were mocked by your peers. In those moments, the brain records a very specific, very dangerous piece of data. Who I am naturally is not safe. The brain, being a survival engine, immediately begins to construct a shield. It says, okay, the raw version of me got hurt, so I will build a version of me that is bulletproof. I will build a version that is smoother, quieter, or maybe louder, funnier. I will build a version that gives people exactly what they want, so they will never attack me again. This is the birth of the false self. At first, the false self is a useful tool. It's like a suit of armour you put on to go to school. It protects your soft underbelly. You learn to smile when the teacher talks. You learn to mimic the slang of the popular kids. You learn to hide your obsession with insects or maps or classical music because those things get you bullied. But the tragedy of the pretender is that over time, the armour fuses to the skin. You wear the mask for so long that you forget how to take it off. You wear it for so long that you forget what your own face looks like underneath. We wake up one day, perhaps at 25, perhaps at 40, and we realise we are trapped in a prison of our own design. We have curated a life that looks perfect on paper, but feels like it belongs to a stranger. We have friends who love us, but we feel entirely alone. And we feel alone because we know a secret that they don't. They don't love me. They love the character I play. This is the deepest, most corrosive loneliness there is. It is the loneliness of the actor standing centre stage, bathed in applause, knowing that if the audience saw him without the costume, without the makeup, without the lines, they would leave. Let's look at the mechanics of this performance. What does it actually require to pretend all day? It requires a hypervigilance that burns massive amounts of glucose. The pretender is constantly scanning the room. They are reading micro-expressions. Did she look bored when I said that? Did his tone shift? Is the vibe changing? They are constantly adjusting their behaviour in real time to match the emotional temperature of the room. It is a form of emotional sonar. If the room is tense, the pretender becomes the peacemaker. They soften their voice. They make self-deprecating jokes to lower the temperature. They absorb the anxiety of others. If the room is dull, the pretender becomes the entertainer. They inject energy. They tell stories. They become the spark plug, burning their own fuel to keep the engine of social interaction running. To the outside world, these people seem incredibly socially calibrating. We call them charming. We call them easy to get along with. We say, he can talk to anyone. We rarely stop to ask, what is the cost of being able to talk to anyone? The cost is that you are never talking to yourself. The cost is that you are water, taking the shape of whatever container you are poured into, and eventually you lose your own form. There are several distinct archetypes of the pretender in our society. You likely know them. You might be one of them. First, there is the happy warrior. This is the person who is relentlessly positive. They are the good vibes only person. They have fused their identity with the concept of being low maintenance and optimistic. They are terrified that if they show a single crack of negativity, sadness, or anger, they will be rejected. Inside, they might be dying. Inside, they might be grieving, or furious, or terrified. But the mask is welded into a smile. They are the ones who apologise when you step on their foot. They are the ones who say it's okay immediately after being hurt, before they've even processed the pain. They deny their own reality to preserve the comfort of others. Then there is the stoic professional. This is the mask of competence. This person believes that their value as a human being is entirely largely tied to their output, their strength, and their lack of needs. They pretend to not have feelings. They pretend to be machines. They answer emails at 2 a.m. to prove they are necessary. They never ask for help because asking for help feels like a death sentence. This mask is heavy because it requires the suppression of basic biology. It requires you to ignore your body when it says rest. It requires you to ignore your heart when it says connect. The stoic professional ends up successful and hollow, standing in a corner office, wondering why the view doesn't make them feel anything. Then there is the chameleon. This is the most fluid and dangerous form of pretending. The chameleon has no fixed personality. When they are with their artsy friends, they hate capitalism and love abstract cinema. When they are with their business friends, they talk about stocks and the grind. When they are with their religious family, they are pious. They are not lying exactly. They are fragmenting. They are slicing off parts of themselves to fit into the puzzle piece of the moment. They are terrified of conflict, so they agree with everyone. The problem for the chameleon is that eventually the different worlds collide. The wedding, the birthday party, the funeral, where all the different groups are in one room. The chameleon panics. Which mask do I wear? Who am I supposed to be? In that moment of collision, the chameleon often experiences a total psychological collapse because the void in the centre cannot hold the structure together. Why do we do this? Why do we work so hard to erase ourselves? At the core, it is a bargaining mechanism. It is a transaction we are trying to make with the universe. The transaction is this: if I am perfect, if I am easy, if I am impressive, if I am what you want me to be, then you will not leave me. It is a trauma response disguised as a personality trait. We live in a society that incentivizes the mask. We live in an economy of attention where the image is more valuable than the reality. Social media has industrialized the act of pretending. In the past, you only had to pretend when you left the house. Now, you have to curate a digital avatar that exists 24/7. You have to post the highlights. You have to use the filters. You have to write the caption that sounds witty but casual. We look at other people's masks and mistake them for their faces. We scroll through Instagram and see people who seem to be constantly happy, constantly successful, constantly in love. We compare our messy, internal, chaotic behind-the-scenes footage with their polished highlight reel. And we conclude, something is wrong with me. So we double down on the mask. We try harder to pretend, but there is a biological limit to how long a human being can act. There is a phenomenon I call the great fatigue. It usually hits people in their 30s or 40s, but it is happening younger and younger now. It is a fatigue that sleep cannot fix. It is a fatigue of the soul. It is the moment when the effort required to keep the mask up becomes greater than the fear of letting it drop. It manifests as burnout. It manifests as sudden, inexplicable rage. It manifests as a desire to just vanish. To drive your car past the exit for your house and just keep driving. To throw your phone in the river. To move to a cabin in the woods and never speak to another human being again. This desire to escape is not actually a desire to leave your life. It is a desire to leave your role. It is a desperate craving to stop performing. When we pretend, we create a dissociation from our own bodies. Think about the physical act of suppressing an emotion. You are angry, but you smile. Your brain sends a signal to your jaw to clench. Your adrenal glands pump cortisol because they sense a threat. Your heart rate speeds up, but your conscious mind overrides these signals. You force the muscles of your mouth upward. You force your voice to stay steady. You are effectively starting a war inside your own skin. The body says, fight, and the mind says, appease. This internal civil war, fought day after day, year after year, destroys us. It leads to inflammation. It leads to anxiety disorders. It leads to depression. Depression, in this context, can be seen as a deep rest. The body is going on strike. It is saying, I refuse to play this character anymore. If you won't stop the show, I will shut down the theatre. The irony, the cruel, bitter irony, is that the very thing we are trying to achieve with our masks is the one thing the mask prevents us from getting. We wear the mask to get love. We wear the mask to belong. But you cannot be loved if you are not seen. If you pretend to be someone else, and people love that person, they are loving a ghost. They are loving a fabrication. You remain untouched. You remain starving at the banquet. True connection requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is simply the act of dropping the mask. It is terrifying. To stop pretending is to risk rejection. If I stop being the funny one, will they still invite me to the party? If I stop being the competent one, will they still respect me? If I stop being the easy one, will they still want to be around me? The answer, painfully, is maybe not. When you stop pretending, the dynamic of your relationships will change. Some people are only in your life because our masks fit together. They are the hammer, you are the nail. If you stop being the nail, the hammer has no use for you. When you start setting boundaries, when you start saying no, when you start showing your sadness or your weirdness, some people will leave. Let them. This is the cleaning of the house. The people who leave when you show your true face were never in a relationship with you. They were in a relationship with your service. They were in a relationship with the convenience you provided. But the people who stay, the people who see the cracks and the fatigue and the weirdness and the anger and say, "Oh, there you are. I've been waiting for you." Those are your people. That is real love. So how do we begin to dismantle the pretender? It is not a sudden explosion. You don't walk into work tomorrow and flip a table. It is a slow, quiet unzipping. It begins with awareness. It begins by noticing the gap. Notice when you are saying things you don't mean. Notice when your face is smiling, but your stomach is tight. Notice when you are agreeing to plans that you dread. Don't judge it, just notice it. Oh, look, I'm doing the performance again. Then start with small rebellions. The rebellion of honesty. When someone asks, "How are you?" instead of the automatic, "Good, you?" try a microscopic dose of truth. "I'm actually feeling a bit drained today." Watch what happens. The world will not end. The sky will not fall. In fact, you might see the other person's shoulders drop. You might see relief in their eyes. Because by showing your crack, you have given them permission to show theirs. Vulnerability is contagious. When one person stops pretending, it creates a vacuum that sucks the pretense out of the room. We need to talk about the concept of mediocrity. The pretender is often driven by a perfectionism that says, "I must be exceptional to justify my existence." We need to make peace with being average. We need to make peace with being boring. You do not need to be the life of the party. You do not need to be the most successful person in the room. You do not need to be the saint. You are allowed to be a person who is sometimes grumpy. You are allowed to be a person who doesn't have an opinion on the latest news. You are allowed to be a person who just wants to go home and watch TV. There is a tremendous freedom in embracing your own unspecialness. When you stop trying to be a god, you can finally enjoy being a human. Think of the energy you will save. Imagine all the energy you currently spend monitoring your tone, checking your reflection, curating your feed, suppressing your irritation, manufacturing enthusiasm. Imagine if you took all that energy and poured it back into yourself. Poured it into your actual interests. Poured it into deep rest. Poured it into the few relationships that actually matter. You would feel a rush of vitality you haven't felt since childhood. The path back to the self is a process of excavation. We are digging through layers of sediment. The layer of the good student, the layer of the cool teenager, the layer of the corporate professional. We are digging down to find the thing that was there before the world told us who to be. There is a Japanese concept called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. When a bowl breaks, they do not throw it away. They glue it back together, but they mix gold dust into the glue. They highlight the cracks. They celebrate the history of the object. The bowl becomes more beautiful because it has been broken. The pretender tries to hide the cracks. They want to present a seamless, factory-perfect porcelain surface, but the human soul is kintsugi. We are all broken. We are all glued together by time and experience. The parts of you that you are trying to hide, your anxiety, your awkwardness, your weird obsessions, your failures, those are the gold lines. Those are the places where the light gets in. Those are the things that make you real. Nobody falls in love with perfection. We admire perfection, effectively. We respect perfection, but we do not love it. It is too smooth. There is nothing to hold on to. We love the jagged edges. We love the vulnerability. We love the humanity. If you are listening to this and you feel that heavy, wet blanket of exhaustion, if you feel like you are acting in a movie that you didn't write, I want you to know that you can put the script down. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to quit your job and move to the mountains, unless you want to. You just have to stop fixing your face for 1 minute. You just have to stop filling the silence. You just have to let people be disappointed in you. Let's talk about that. The willingness to be disappointing. It is a superpower. If you are willing to let people be disappointed because you said no to a favour, or because you didn't laugh at their joke, or because you aren't the person they projected onto you, you are free. Their disappointment is not your failing. Their disappointment is their own adjustment to reality. You are breaking their projection of you so that they can encounter the real you. It is an act of respect. You are respecting them enough to give them the truth, rather than a pleasant lie. There is a specific kind of person who terrifies the pretender. It is the person who is utterly unself-conscious. The old man dancing badly at the wedding, the woman eating alone in a restaurant, reading a book, completely unbothered, the child singing to themselves on the bus. We watch them with a mix of judgment and envy. We think, oh, how embarrassing. But underneath we are thinking, God, I wish I was that free. They are free because they have abandoned the audience. They are living from the inside out, not the outside in. They are not asking, how does this look? They are asking, how does this feel? We must shift our centre of gravity from the external eye to the internal felt sense. Society tells us we are objects to be viewed. We are products on a shelf. The packaging matters most, but you are not a product. You are a process. You are a living, breathing, dull, dying, messy, glorious biological event. You do not need to be consumable. As we age, the mask tends to slip naturally. This is why older people often stop caring what others think. It is not just senility, it is liberation. They realise the clock is running out. They realise they wasted decades worrying about the opinions of people who are now dead or indifferent. They finally just exist. Why wait until you are 80? Why not start the liberation now? Imagine a dinner party. Everyone is sitting around the table, the conversation is polite, people are discussing real estate or the weather or the schools their children go to. Everyone is slightly bored, everyone is slightly anxious, everyone is performing the successful adult. Then someone takes a risk. Someone says, I actually feel completely lost right now. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Silence. The host looks nervous, but then look at the faces of the guests. The tension leaves the room. The air changes. Someone else says, me too. I cry in my car on the way to work. Someone else says, I feel like I'm failing my kids. Suddenly, it is not a performance anymore. It is a communion. The mask has cracked and the gold is showing. The dinner party transforms from a draining obligation into a source of nourishment. This is what is possible when we stop pretending. We reclaim the nutrient of human connection. We are starving for this. Look at our movies, our books, our music. We are obsessed with the dark side, with the anti-hero, with the flawed protagonist. Why? Because we are sick of the polished hero. We are sick of the Superman. We want the Batman. We want the character who is scarred, who is conflicted, who is barely holding it together. Because that looks like us. We are desperate to see our own shadow reflected back to us, so we know we are not monsters. To the pretender, I know you are tired. I know you feel that if you stop dancing, the music will stop and the lights will go out. But the opposite is true. The dancing is keeping you dizzy. Stop dancing. Stand still. The lights might dim. The crowd might thin out. But in the quiet that follows, you will finally hear your own breath. You will finally feel the ground beneath your feet. You will realize that the earth holds you up, whether you are performing or not. Gravity does not require you to be charming. The sun does not require you to be successful. The air does not require you to be good. You have a right to be here, exactly as you are. Unfinished, unpolished, uncertain. There is a dignity in the unmasked face. There is a beauty in the awkward silence. There is a power in the person who refuses to sell themselves. Return to yourself. The door is open. The key is in your hand. Walk back inside the house of your own soul. Take off the tight shoes. Take off the heavy coat. Wash the paint off your face. Look in the mirror. It's been a long time. Say hello to the stranger staring back at you. Forgive them for leaving. Promise them you will stay this time. You do not need to be anyone else. You never did. The role is over. You can just be.